My name is Pamela Odezi. I'm going to talk about animals have rights. Animals do have moral rights and should be treated well, especially in the zoo. Development and maintenance of zoo harm animals by disintegrating them from the broader wildlife family. Zoo continue to increase in modern day with the majority operating as an amusement park. The initial idea of zoo focused on preserving endangered species. Advocates of animal rights explore the ethics of zoo to understand their implications on animal rights. The Constitution raises a contention considering the benefits and the drawbacks of zoo. Jamieson was one of the leading activists who opposed animal zoo by criticizing the four foundations cited to support their existence. Most of the proponents highlight the elements of enjoyment, education, scientific investigation opportunity, and preservation of species. Those were the motive of developing a zoo. The discussion maintained that zoo failed to achieve the intended objectives by engaging in abusive treatment of animals. Foremost, zoo hold animal species in captivity through an individual representative. A single animal represents a particular species as a whole. Zoo contain cages that keeps animals in secure spaces that limits their movement. The restriction demonstrate ecological illiteracy. The problem is that they fail to realize holding one animal in captivity accounts for the entire species. Zoo acts as a means to keep animal species in captivity through the single representative in the cage. Additionally, animals have a consciousness that allows them to be mindful of their environment. Zoo limit the freedom of animals to actualize their cognizance. Proponents of zoo holds on the argument that animals lack self-consciousness to make choices. The lack of self-awareness means that animals cannot be free. They claim disregard the fact that the majority of primates shows the ability to utilize symbols for communication. Jamieson argues that evidence associates how animals use social play, deception, and vigilance to demonstrate their cognizance. The denial of freedom in zoo abuses their consciousness. Zoo limits the freedom of animals that denies them the ability to apply cognizance. Zoo creates an unnatural environment for animals used in scientific study. The strange setting does not allow animals to exhibit the behavior they would show in natural setting. Jamieson provides strong arguments against the use of animals in zoo for scientific study, particularly behavioral research. The unnatural environment created in zoo do not contribute to scientific study. Lastly, zoo distinguishes animals from the larger wildlife family through unsuccessful preservation program. Zoo do not allow animal in captivity to associate with others in the wildlife. Proponents of zoo rely on the argument that they help in preserving endangered species. The chances of reintroducing caged animals into the wilderness are too low. A combination of social, environmental, economic, and political elements limits the success of preservation programs. Cost implications associated with reintroduction process divert resources from other cost-effective opportunities. The limitation inhibits animals in zoo from associating with others that distinguishes them from the larger wildlife family. In conclusion, it is clear from the philosophers that animals should be treated equally as human beings, whether they are in the zoo, whether they are living with us. Every animal needs to be treated equally. This is because they also experience pain and pleasure like we humans. Moreover, most of the experience of animals are similar to those of humans. The philosophers Jamieson and other philosophers consider it ethical and morally right to treat animal with respect. Thank you.